Good day. In this video, we're going to look at more quadratic inequalities. Please first look at the video that says Quadratic Inequalities 1 Basic mathdou. For the purpose of this video, the heading for all 10 the sums we're going to do will be solve for x if, and then it will give us this inequality. We treat all quadratic inequalities like a quadratic equation. We simplify it out and bring everything to one side where the x squared is positive with a naught on the other side. We times this x with this x gave us an x squared. X with minus 1 is minus x, and we minus 6 on both sides to get everything to one side. Then we factorize this expression or use the quadratic formula to calculate my critical values. From this bracket I got x is equal to 3. From this bracket I got x is equal to minus 2. And because any quadratic expression can be represented graphically with a parabola, I draw a parabola that goes through the x-axis because I did get answers over here. We know that if we have a plus in front of our x squared, we have a happy parabola. If there's a minus, we'll have an unhappy parabola. We will always manipulate our inequality to get to a happy parabola by moving everything to one side where the x squared is positive. These two values will then be my x-intercepts, which I will fill in where the parabola and this line meets, small one on the left and the bigger number on the right. Then I go and look at the expression where I have it bigger or smaller than 0 on the other side. This tells me there is no equal here. Then I go onto my sketch and I circle this and this intercept, so my minus 2 and my 3 is not included. So at this stage, this question is reading, where is the parabola bigger than 0? So that is this red part over here is where the parabola is bigger than 0. 0 is the blue line here, and the parabola is bigger than 0 there and there. So we need to find the x values over here and over here. The answer to this question will then be x is smaller than minus 2 or x is bigger than 3. You may also write it in interval notation like this, which says x is an element of from minus infinity up to minus 2 excluding minus 2, or from 3 excluding 3 up to infinity. Stop the video and get your brain around this. Let's use one quadratic expression and see how the answers change as the inequality changes. The first one which we've done says where is x squared minus x minus 6 bigger than 0. Like we did, we factorized it, we got our critical values, we drew a happy parabola, we indicated the two critical values, and now it says where is it bigger than 0. So we want the part above this line where y is equal to 0. Like we said, because there is no equal, we will not put an equal in our answer, exclude the critical values and only use the values on the right hand side of 3 and on the left hand side of minus 2, which we'll write in one of these two techniques. In the second case, if they say where is x squared minus x minus 6 bigger and equal to 0, it means we'll still use the same sketch with the same factorizing and critical values. We just find out where is this parabola bigger and equal to 0, and that means we will just color in the minus 2 and color in the 3 and use it. Then our answer will look like this. The x's we're going to use is going to include the minus 2 and will be smaller than minus 2, or the x's we use will be including 3 and bigger than 3, which you're going to write in interval notation or in set builder notation, the one that suits you. Please stop the video and compare the two answers. The next inequality asks where is x squared minus x minus 6 smaller than 0, which will be like this. There is no equal, so we exclude the minus 2 and the 3, and we will use the part of the parabola that is underneath y equals to 0. So then our answer will look like this. We're going to use the x values between minus 2 and 3. X is bigger than minus 2, smaller than 3. You can write it like this or like this, excluding the minus 2 and the 3. The next one is asking where is this smaller and equal to 0. That will be the part that we colored in here, including the minus 2, including the 3, and the part underneath here. I need to find out what x values are used over here. So final answer will be x is bigger and equal to minus 2 and x is smaller and equal to 3. Written in one of these two ways. We want all the x values from minus 2 to 3 including them, and everything in between. Please stop the video and compare these four inequalities. Let's look at a few examples of typical exam questions. Here is another one. They said solve for x. They gave us this, but some people miss this at the back where it says x is an element of integers. First, we take everything to one side where the x squared is positive, with 0 on the other side. Factorize it further, and get my critical values. From this bracket I get 2, and from this bracket I get minus 2, the values of x. Then I draw my happy parabola. I draw my x-axis, and I fill in my two critical values. Here is where y is equal to 0. Then I read where is the parabola smaller than 0. And that is why we indicated it at the bottom here. This is where the parabola is smaller than the blue line. And if they did not give me this restriction at the back, I would have written this answer. We want the x values between minus 2 and 2, excluding them. But they did put out in this restriction. They only want integers from me. So I'm looking for the integers between minus 2 and 2. So my final answer will be x an element of minus 1, 0, and 1. On this side of minus 2, the first integer is minus 1, then 0, then 1. And we're not using the minus 2 and the 2. Stop the video and get your brain around this question. The next inequality looks like this. Take everything to one side where the x squared is positive. Now you may use the following. If you're not good with your factorizing, you may use the quadratic formula to find your two critical values, which in this case will be a third and minus 2.5. Draw your happy parabola, indicate your critical values. Because there's an equal there, you color in the two critical values. And you say I want bigger than 0, so I want the part above where the line is 0. You write your answer, x is smaller than minus 2.5, including it, or x is bigger than a third, including it. Please stop the video and get your brain around this one. The next inequality looks like this. Take everything to one side where the x squared is positive. Factorize it and get your critical values. If you don't understand exactly what happened here, use your quadratic formula. Sketch your happy parabola with where y is 0. Don't be afraid to use the answer square root of 7. Over here they asked where is the parabola smaller and equal to 0. We want the part smaller and equal to this line. And you write your answer in one of these two ways. The next inequality looks like this. 4x is smaller than 2x squared. Take everything to one side where the x squared is positive. Factorize. Be careful, a lot of people have trouble here. We get our two critical values 0 and 2. Draw our happy parabola going through the x-axis. Indicate the two critical points. Because it says here, we're looking for the parabola bigger than 0. We want the part of the parabola that is above this line, excluding the critical values because there is no equal there. You can write your answer in one of these two ways. Stop the video and get your brain around these two. Last inequality of this video looks like this. I'll show you two ways to do it. Firstly, you can times out the two brackets and get to this stage. Then move everything to one side where the x squared is positive, not on the other side. Factorize it or use the quadratic formula and find the two critical values. Draw your happy parabola, and because there's an equal, color in the two critical values. Remember to read from here. They say where is this parabola smaller and equal to 0. And then you'll write your answer in one of these two methods. Stop the video and just get your brain around this. The other method is that if you see this and you see that this x is on the wrong side here, you can see if I times the minus 2x with this x, I'm going to get a minus 2x squared, which we don't want. You may factorize a minus 1 out of this bracket. Put a minus here and flip these two terms over. Divide by minus 1 on both sides of the inequality, and that will make this inequality swap around. Then get your critical values. From this bracket we get a half, and from this one we get minus 3. Then we will get to the same happy parabola, same critical values, and now it's again saying where is the parabola smaller and equal to 0. Therefore the bottom part, including the critical values, staying with the same answer. Please stop the video and decide which method you like best. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked the video and subscribe to the channel. If you run into an inequality that you have trouble solving, you may send a clear WhatsApp picture of your problem to this number, a clear WhatsApp picture of where you tried it. Then we will try and solve the problem and send back an answer to you as soon as possible. Enjoy inequalities.